But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines and that they're defective devices.
They're coming all over the place.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, "No, this is soup for my family." They're so innocent. "This is soup for my family." It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, "No, this is just soup for my family." And then the media says, "This is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people." Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. They're coming all over the place.
I admit to always improving.
Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
Done as a shit fuck, cringe to her, etc., etc.
Testing, testing, testing. Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Am I audible? Am I audible right now? Am I audible? Is this thing on? Can you hear me? I'm not sure. Is it on? Wait. Oh, fuck. Hello? Oh, here it is. Welcome, users, to another episodic installation of the goddamn, aka the Above It All Experimental Experience Hour. This is the hour where we experiment with experience. And so we're going to be experimenting with the experience on this hour, and maybe an hour after this hour. It's possible. Abner, I'm not playing this game anymore. Oh no. People don't like my, is this thing on? People don't like it. I mean, how else am I supposed to know if it's on? That's what I'm like trying to figure out. Like, I'm not watching the stream here. Hello. So we got a show. Doing a program, doing a show here. And so I've got a show going on today. There's goddamn shootings, there's death, there's shootings. There's goddamn shootings. Double execution, oh fuck. Alright. Hope your cooking stream went well yesterday. Well, it's technically not a stream. Highly edited premiere. But yeah, did anyone enjoy the show yesterday? Cooking with the Bitch, episode 11 was live. A live show of experimental experience yesterday. Which you can see here. You can see this here on stream. This was up yesterday, only 96 views so far. That's a problem. Yes, I liked my own video. What gives? What gives, folks? I put out banger after banger, and y'all motherfuckers aren't watching it. 96. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Next time, lose the GMO cornmeal. I'm still learning, Mila. I'm still learning. But you can go watch this video and more if the stream is not fun for you or engaging enough, or whenever if you can't get enough content, which apparently there's a good chunk of people that after watching Above It All did get enough content and they were content with that content and they did not go over to the cooking program. But you know, what are you gonna do? Y'all, I got a seltzer. I was using tongs at one point. You're clearly giving me fake news. This is proof that you did not watch the video, Shy Doomer. You're just reacting. You're reacting to the one piece of B-roll here. So let me show you some evidence of me using the tongs. As you can see, tongs right here. I'm eating pumpernickel with the tongs. You're lying. That is a lie. That is fake news being peddled in the chat room. So anyway, got a show going on, doing a program. Let's do the show. What kind of show? Let's talk about food. Alrighty. Highly controversial, this article. Scientists find no benefit to time-restricted eating. So, now this is something, I'm big on fasting, but for me, I'm not much of an intermittent faster. Fasting is the practice of only eating in one time slot per day, like, you know, skipping breakfast and lunch, and just eating dinner and so on. I'm not usually into that. I mean, I guess I don't usually eat breakfast, so I guess but it's not something I think about. But what I do think about is non-intermittent fasting, which I do recommend. I think when you fast for 24 to 36 hours, you are getting a lot of benefits, such as, cleans out your cells, speeds up your metabolism a little bit, I would recommend everyone try to do a 24-hour fast at least once a month. That's my recommendation. Intermittent fasting, some people have success with it. I think a lot of the success with intermittent fasting is just psychological. I think the psychological benefit of just saying, yeah, I don't eat breakfast or lunch, or, I don't eat I don't eat, until I get home from work, or, the psychological benefit of creating like the rules, I think is the biggest benefit with intermittent fasting. I do still, after reading this article, think that intermittent fasting has benefits as well that are physical, but I think most of the benefits of intermittent fasting is psychological, and that's a good thing. But anyway, let's read. I'm very skeptical of this. I'm very skeptical. The weight loss idea is quite appealing. Limit your eating to a period of 6 to 8 hours each day, during which you have whatever you want. Now, I don't know about this whatever you want thing. Now, in my opinion, if you're eating whatever you want, right, then yeah, maybe intermittent fasting would help, because if you're eating ice cream and donuts and sandwiches made of ice cream and donuts, and like you were eating that, 16 hours a day and you reduced it to 8 hours a day, that's a win, right? So I don't know, like the whatever you want part, not so sure about that. Studies in mice seem to support so-called time-restricted eating, a form of the popular intermittent fasting diet. Small studies of people with obesity suggested it might help shed pounds. So, there you go. But now, a rigorous 1-year study in which people followed a low-calorie diet between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. or consumed the same number of calories anytime throughout the day has failed to find an effect. So first of all, I have problems with using calories as the dietary guideline. Saying, oh, just have 1,000 calories a day or 1,200 calories a day, in this time period versus that time period, that doesn't really do much. What is the quality of these calories? If I'm drinking 12 Coca-Colas from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., is that the same thing as someone who's eating a healthy meal full of beans and rice and all that kind of stuff? So again, this whole thing with calories, I'm anti-calorie. I will always push anti-calorie propaganda on this channel because I think calories are one of the most damaging mechanisms of measurement that has ever existed when it comes to human health. That's my opinion. The bottom line, said Dr. Ethan Weiss, a diet researcher at the University of California, San Francisco. These goddamn coastal elites trying to tell you what and what not to eat. There is no benefit to eating in a narrow window. The study, published on Wednesday in the New England Journal of Medicine, was led by researchers at Southern Medical University in Guangzhou, China, and included 139 people with obesity. Women ate 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day, and men consumed 1,500 to 18 calories a day. What is the quality of these calories? In my opinion, it is medical and scientific malpractice to use calories as the single and only unit of measurement when it comes to doing dietary studies. That's my opinion. Now, again, if you want to say protein rich or, like certain kinds of nutrition, micronutrients and macronutrients have a minimum threshold, right? That's one thing. But if the study is just about calories, I disagree big time. To ensure compliance, participants were required to photograph every bit of food they ate and keep food diaries. Both groups lost weight, an average of about 14 to 18 pounds. There was no significant difference in the amounts of weight lost with either diet strategy. There were also no significant differences between the groups in measures of waist, circumference, body fat, and lean body mass. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is one study versus decades of other studies and research. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, I'm not sure about the calories. Maybe I'd have to look into the study more. I'm reading, of course, the New York Times article about this study and not the study itself. The scientists also found no differences in such risk factors as blood glucose levels, sensitivity to insulin, blood lipids, or blood pressure. What is the length of period for this? Was it 1 year? Okay. The new study is not the first to test time-restricted eating, but previous studies often were smaller, a shorter duration, and without control groups. That research tended to conclude that people lost weight by eating only during a limited period of time during the day. Dr. Weiss himself used to be a true believer in time-restricted eating and said that for 7 years he had only eaten between noon and 8 p.m. I mean, that's how I eat. I mean, sometimes I have breakfast before the show, but usually I don't, just because, why, I'm not hungry, so. In previous research, he and his colleagues asked some of the 116 adult participants to eat 3 meals a day with snacks if they got hungry, and others were instructed to eat whatever they wanted between noon and 8 p.m. Again, the whatever you want. This idea, like, there's a multitude of different, like, ideas being treated here. Like, intermittent fasting is not eating whatever you want during that period of time. Now, again, the psychological benefit to locking out hours of time, like saying, I don't eat breakfast, I only eat from noon to 8 or whatever. The psychological benefit in and of itself when it comes to people with eating disorders or food addictions, in my opinion, the psychological benefit is more than enough. It's good enough, right? But again, this idea that intermittent fasting is like, oh, I eat whatever I want. I'm eating chicken and steak and French fries and I'm eating candy and fruit roll-ups, but as long as I eat, like, that's not, like, we already know that 95% of Americans do not eat fiber on a daily basis. 95% of Americans don't know how to eat vegetables, right? So this idea that, like, oh, in order to do the study, you just have them eat whatever they want within a calorie window, that to me, it's not enough. It's not enough to me. That's not anyone that's going to, like, try to talk about intermittent fasting and they're just saying, oh, eat whatever you want. Like, yes, in my opinion, if you are eating whatever you want, you're eating ice cream sandwiches and donuts, that's all good. That's fine. You probably shouldn't, right? But you're not an evil person. But the idea of, like, psychologically saying, like, I'm just going to skip breakfast or whatever, just as a way to limit yourself to get the ball rolling, that has a good effect. But the idea that intermittent fasting is equivalent to just eating whatever you want during a window, it's just not, there's no evidence for that whatsoever. In previous research, he and his colleagues asked some of the 116 adult participants to eat 3 meals, blah, blah, blah. Participants lost a small amount of weight, an average of 2 pounds in the time-restricted eating group and 1.5 pounds in the control group, a difference that was not statistically significant. In an interview, Dr. Weiss recalled he could hardly believe the results. He asked statisticians to analyze the data 4 times until they told him further work wouldn't change the results. I was a devotee, he said. This was a hard thing to accept. The experiment lasted just 12 weeks. Now, it looks like even a 1-year study has failed to find benefits in time-restricted eating. Now, again, I will maybe look into the study, but personally, like, calorie restriction, what is the quality of food that these people are eating? That is the number one most important factor in diets. You cannot just use calories, as it doesn't work that way. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You can't just say 1,800 calories, you have 1,800 calories. That's not how, like, the real way to do a study would give them the same exact foods, like identical foods, find people that have, like, they're not allergic to whatever, make them identical meals, and then have them eat at different periods of each day, right? The idea that it's just open to just whatever calories you want, that completely destroys the whole fucking thing, in my opinion. So I don't view this study as anything. I'm very skeptical. The question for researchers, she added, if you overeat a bit during daylight hours, are you more able to burn those calories rather than store them? Dr. said she would like to see a study that compared a group of subjects who overall ate all day to time-restricted eating groups of subjects who also overate. Yeah, I mean, that I would also like to see that, but again, I'm very skeptical on this study. I'm going to say that this study, just to be honest with you, this is my reaction to the study.
No good, really bad for you.
It's just not interested. Not interested. Sorry. I disagree. I disagree. I know you like to work with absolutes. Who, me? I love absolute. Anyway. Speaking of absolute. This is a Politico piece, so this is basically a novel. I'm probably not going to get through the whole thing, but it should be fun. Politico. Biden's dismal poll numbers imperil Dem Senate control. The president's popularity is dangerously low in the 4 states where Democratic incumbents are the most endangered. Y'all, it's over for the Biden administration. Let's go Biden, I agree, or whatever. Democrats' path to saving their narrow Senate majority comes down to defending 4 states this fall. And in all of them, Joe Biden is underwater in the polls. Now, I think it's a very important thing to say that just because the president is unpopular does not necessarily mean that the Senate candidate will face a similar or the same level of unpopularity. I just want to be clear on that. Now, again, the president being unpopular is the avatar for the party. I would say the largest effect the president's popularity rating being this negative would have is just keeping people home and not even going out to vote. Now, again, the president is not on the ballot, right? So midterm elections are weird. People that vote in midterm elections, and I don't know why you'd only ever vote in presidential elections. To me, that never made sense. The idea that midterm elections have lower turnout never made sense to me. What the fuck? I don't get it. But anyway, the president is the avatar for the party. People view the party in similar ways that they view the president. There's a slight disconnect, but each candidate's different. But of course, the president having dismal approval numbers has made a lot of Democratic voters who voted in 2020 feel that they're neglected and that the party doesn't deserve to have their vote. Now, again, my opinion, I vote in every election. I will vote for the furthest left candidate available on the ballot in every election. That's just what I do. That's my mentality. I recommend everyone do that. In every election, I will always vote for whoever is the furthest left. If it happens to be a Republican, if there's a socialist running as a Republican just to shake things up, just for fun, you know what? I'll vote for a Republican. But typically, and by that I mean 100% of the time so far that I've been alive, Democrats have been further to the left than Republicans. So that's just my opinion. I don't want Republicans to take control of the Senate. I think Democrats are doing a horrible job. My opinion is I'd rather change Democratic leadership. I'd rather change the constituency within the Democratic Party. I'd rather vote for progressive Democrats, left-wing Democrats, rather than corporate Democrats. Some people's opinion is, fuck politics, bro, I'm just gonna... But anyway. Biden's drag on swing state incumbents is emerging as a pivotal factor in the midterm Senate elections, where the loss of just one Democratic-held seat in November could put Republicans in control. So technically, though, they could gain a seat and then lose a seat, right? So it's not like they just have to lose or they just require losing or whatever. They could gain a seat and then lose another seat, within the 2020 election. I believe the Alabama Democratic senator was thrown to the curb, but still overall they had gains. Acutely aware of the need to get distance from the president, the four most endangered Democratic incumbents, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock, Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, and New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan, are increasingly taking steps to highlight their independence from the president and underscore their differences. Once again, I just have to say the Biden administration is a complete colossal failure. I really, there is no, at this point in time, April 21, 2022, the Biden administration is a failure. It's a flop. It's a box office failure. The movies that come out and then everyone says that they suck. They're still making all the money, but no one likes them. And that's what needs to be understood here, is that they have abandoned almost all of their promises. Every single one of them. Decriminalizing cannabis. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. $50 minimum wage. Huh? Never heard of it. There's many, many examples. One of the only things that Biden has done that, in my opinion, has any net positive on, this country was getting out of the war in Afghanistan. That's my opinion. But that's that doesn't really affect most people that live in this country, though it does affect a lot of people that live in the world, right? So in my opinion, that's a net positive. Other than that, I mean, the $1,400 check, the child tax credit, that was great, but that's over. That's gone. People don't remember that. Unless you have a policy, like the child tax credit was a perfect policy, right? Because it's supposed to be every month. That's the ideal, right? It's no shock that the child tax credit expires and then Biden's approval rating plummets all of a sudden at the same time. Who would have possibly thought that? Democrats don't care if they win or lose. It seems. And I want them to care about winning. It's why I vote for Democrats. The public pushback against Biden's plan to lift the Trump-era border restriction known as Title 42 is the most visible expression of the effort to get distance from the president. This is the thing. Title 42 is horrible. Right? So another thing where Biden's kind of like moving the ball in like a somewhat right direction, but not really, but a little bit. And these 4 Democrats are running to the right. But the 4 Democrats are also finding other ways of signaling to voters. They visited the border wall and blocked his nominees. A month before Trump-appointed judge struck down Biden's mask mandate on mass transit, 3 of the 4 voted in favor of a Republican bill to do just that. So again, all of these Democrats, when in doubt, Democrats will run to the right and lose. It always happens. Hillary Clinton is a famous example. She ran to the right in the general election. In the primary, she was in the right. She was the right-wing candidate. In the general election, she ran even more to the right. She lost. You can look at many examples of Senate races where Democrats run to the right and then they lose. And then you look at a lot of examples of Democrats running to the left and then they win. Right? With the Justice Democrats, of course, like Cori Bush is a big example. On social media, where they shy away from praise to the president and instead focus on their efforts to prod the White House to action, it's hard to tell they voted in line with Biden no less than 96% of the time. In these 4 states, these are senators just doing the work, blah, 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 who cares? They are not people who go blah, 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 blah. Less than 2 years ago, Biden carried Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and New Hampshire. Today, however, his approval rating is dangerously low in each of them. In Nevada, a Suffolk University poll released last week put the president's approval rating at an anemic 35%. Again, the Joe Biden administration is a colossal failure. But fortunately for them, they have the ability to turn around. They could decriminalize marijuana. They could. And they are doing some things in student loan debt, but they should go further, and I'll get into that later maybe. Again, they could stop 3Xing and 4Xing police budgets after they ran on reforming police after George Floyd was murdered, right? They could campaign on and trying to, at least talk about getting a $15 minimum wage. They could go for another stimulus check, make it about gas or whatever you need. But they're not. They refuse to do so. They would rather lose. Both Warnock and Kelly have declined to answer questions about whether they would welcome Biden campaigning with them. But when presented with opportunity on Tuesday, Hassan chose to welcome him, appearing with the president on Tuesday in Portsmouth, where he touted passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill and her role in passing it. Afterward, Hassan tweeted that she would continue to work with Biden and her colleagues on both sides of the aisle to deliver. Like does anyone have? Like there's a voter. I was. That Hassan senator was talking with the president. I don't like the president, but then I went on her Twitter page to go tweet fuck you at her, and then I saw that she tweeted colleagues on both sides of the aisle. She's going to work with both sides, and then I thought, you know what, maybe she's worth voting for because she's working with both sides. Like, who is this person? Who is this person that the Democrats are envisioning, right? That it's like, oh, well, she tweeted about working with both sides, so though, it's all good. Like they think about politics in the dumbest way imaginable, right? Like it's what? The whole reason to vote for Democrats is that they're not Republicans. You're not a Republican. That's why you have any voter base at all. You have a literal captured audience of people that are only capable and able to vote for you, right? Because you're not a Republican, and what's the number one way to lose is to pretend to be a Republican. Now again, Americans are fucking stupid. They are dumb. Americans are fucking, they're just the dumbest fucking breed of stupid ass bitches on the planet. So when they see Democrats doing badly, they're like, well, I'm going to vote for the other party to spite the Democrats. You think Nancy Pelosi cares if fucking goddamn, like, Kevin McCarthy or Donald Trump is Speaker of the House? Nancy Pelosi doesn't give a fuck. You're not spiting the Democrats by voting for Republicans. You're not spiting by the Democrats by voting for Green Party or Libertarian Party. You're not, okay? Okay, you're not. The way you spite the Democrats is by primarying their bitch motherfucker asses, right? Again, there's a reason why primaries exist. Anyone who pretends that the primary process... Now, again, think about it, right? Americans are so fucking stupid, right? Most Americans, don't even vote at all, right? But presidential elections have the highest turnout. Midterm elections have like 3/4 or half the turnout depending on the year. What? Why would you not vote in the midterm? Why? Because you're a fucking idiot. You're a dumbass. You're a loser. You're a fucking moron. You're a sheep. You're a fucking moron, okay? You're dumber than bricks. That's why you wouldn't vote in a midterm election, right? But then also, even less people vote in primary elections. What? What? The most important elections that exist in this country are primary elections, and they have like 10% of the vote of like a presidential election. Now, again, part of that is because of voter restriction laws, especially being passed by Republicans all across the country, right? So a lot of people are, their ability to vote has been restricted. And I'm not calling those people stupid. If you try to vote and you find out that they fucked you, right? You did everything you could. But I'm talking about the people that don't vote. I'm talking about the people that don't pay attention to politics, bruh. The people that only vote every 4 years or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, it's not like we're asking you to vote every fucking 2 months. It's not like we're asking you to vote every day. It's every 2 fucking years, you jackass. Every 2 years, you vote like 2 or 3 times throughout the process. It's not that fucking hard. It's not that hard. Vote for fucking shit. Anyway, Americans are fucking stupid. And again, you can read the rest of this, but basically it's just like, the senators are running to the right, and then they're going to advocate for right-wing ideals, and then Republicans are going to advocate for those same ideals, but stronger, and then so they're thinking, if both of them are advocating for the same thing, I'm going to vote for the one. Again, Americans are fucking stupid. They would rather vote for Republicans than Republican, like diet Republican, right? I don't know why, because they're fucking dumb. Americans are dumbass motherfuckers, okay? I need you to understand that. They are dumb-ass motherfuckers. Dumbass motherfuckers. Dumbass motherfuckers. Americans are fucking stupid-ass bitches. Like, you think about cows roaming in the fields, right? Like, grazing and eating grass. Like, those cows have more freedom and are more intelligent than fucking Americans in this goddamn country. Like, I'm sick of goddamn Americans. I'm sick of them. Get rid of them. Throw them in the garbage can, man. My God. Anyway, that being said, Joe Biden is still a failure. And we're just fucked. We're shit fucked. We're shit fucked, folks. I don't know what to tell you. We are shit fucked. And not in the good dick way. One sec. All right, I'm going to talk about this. This is from a little bit ago, but I never talked about it, and someone in the chat reminded me to talk about this. So you know the problem? What is the solution? Call them stupid will not work. Well, the solution is to have people stop being so dumb. That's the solution. Now, am I going to be an integral part of that? Am I going to like go around the country and like knock on people's doors and try to educate them? I could. I'm willing to. I'm willing to. But this is my program, right? Like, you know, there's a different context. If you put me in a room in a retirement home and I'm talking to grandmas and there's like three dozen grandmas playing bingo and I'm chilling with them and I'm going to try to get them to vote for the furthest left candidate in a primary or something like Bernie Sanders or whatever, or educate them on just policy in general or history, I'm down. But also, you know, this is my show. This is a different context. This is where I speak my mind, you know? Not sure I want uneducated people voting randomly on election day. I agree that uneducated people voting is a problem, but also, in my opinion, the people that don't vote as a demographic, I think, are more likely to vote for candidates that would do good things. That's my opinion. But yeah, again, like if you show like that retirement home of grandmas my show, they might have a different reaction than if I walked in there and like had a different, you know, take, or, you know, again, all contexts are different. My show is not like a single strategy point. You know, I don't want my show to be a single point of failure for the United States, right? So for me, that's my opinion. But anyway, let's talk about this. So, about a week ago, I'm going to read this article from the Gazette.com, which is somewhere. A week ago, this happened, but I forgot to talk about it. House Progressive Caucus spurns ex-Bernie Sanders spokeswoman Nina Turner. I'm not sure if she was ever technically a spokeswoman, but still, whatever. The Congressional Progressive Caucus, composed of the most liberal House members, decided against endorsing a darling of Senator Bernie Sanders running for an Ohio seat instead of endorsing incumbent Rep. Shontel Brown. Nina Turner, who ran unsuccessfully against Brown in a 2021 special election for Ohio's 11th district in the Cleveland area, did not get the seal of approval from the Progressive Coalition. Instead, it stuck with the convention to endorse Brown, a member of the caucus. Now, this is another part that I forgot to cover. Was Shontel Brown joined the Progressive Caucus. Basically, all that means is you spend money. Now, okay, first of all, this is a multi-pronged story to talk about. First of all, do you remember when Pramila Jayapal, who is currently the head of the Progressive Caucus, tried to kick a bunch of people out and said only true progressives should be allowed? You shouldn't be able to just donate to get your name tied to Progressive Caucus, so you have to vote in favor of whatever. Okay, well, that was cool. That's why I supported her as the leader of the Progressive Caucus at the time. But they've turned into doing that exact same thing. Because fucking Shontel goddamn motherfucking Brown, right, not a progressive, ran to the right of everything in the special election, right? She is like a vehemently pro-apartheid, vehemently pro-corporate candidate. Why is she allowed to just spend money to get in the Progressive Caucus? Pramila Jayapal, again, horrible leader. Ro Khanna, who's the second in command there or whatever. He has a lot of sway in that group of people. Horrible leaders. These are garbage. These are garbage can people. Pramila Jayapal and Ro Khanna are trash. They're the most ineffective, spineless losers I have ever seen. Honestly, I mean, my God. My God. Ro Khanna, by the way, still going around saying that, I don't regret how we played with the Build Back Better Act. I think that Joe Manchin is a logical person. We just disagree. We just disagree. Ro Khanna is still pretending that Joe Manchin is just disagreeing with people and he's not bought and paid for by coal and oil companies, right? So again, this is if there's ever a final straw, right? This is it. If there's ever a final fucking straw for Progressive Caucus being taken seriously, this is goddamn it. The Build Back Better Act, in my opinion, was the final straw, but this is just fucking garbage. They're endorsing right-wing candidates in primaries now? Is this a joke? Is this a goddamn joke? But anyway, let's continue reading. We're proud to support and endorse this group of bold progressive leaders that are fighting for working people in their communities and across the country. Reps Mark Pocan, Pramila Jayapal, and Jamie Raskin, the CPC Political Action Committee co-chair, said in a statement, each and every one of them is working every day to take on corporate special interests. That's just not true. It's just, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, Pramila Jayapal is not working against corporate interests. She's not. She says she is, but what is she doing? Nothing. Like, the one time where there was any moment at all to show that you have any, like, care in the world about these things that you champion was voting against the Build Back Better BIF deal when they tried to decouple the bills. Anything after that is just damage control. This is just damage control. Like, I don't know what's going on with these people. Turner heads Bernie Sanders' grassroots organization, Our Revolution, and was a co-chairwoman of his 2020 presidential campaign. She was projected to be a front-runner in the Democratic primary against Brown in 2021, but her high-profile endorsements from members of the squad and bursting coffers couldn't beat Brown's deep, loyal connections and more centrist positions. Yeah, remember when Chantel Brown had, like, someone actually play a laugh track or a cheer track at her, because there was like 4 people in the audience. So they had the camera focused on the stage, right? And they had in the speakers literally pre-recorded canned laughter for her bad jokes and canned applause because no one was in the crowd to clap or laugh. Remember that? That's embarrassing. Do you remember when Chantel Brown claimed to be telling a story about her beloved transgender friend, right? Who sadly is no longer with us or whatever, right? And during this story about her beloved transgender friend, she misgenders them like 5 or 6 times. So she's ostensibly saying she's pro-trans, but in her pro-trans statement, she is misgendering a dead trans person. To me, strike 1, you're out. You're gone. Fuck you. That's my position on that. The Progressive Caucus is endorsing transphobia. As far as I'm concerned, that's what they're doing. It's just ridiculous. This whole thing is ridiculous. The Congressional Progressive Caucus is garbage. It's garbage. This is, I don't know what this photo of Nina Turner is. She looks like she's not having a good bathroom experience in this photo. It's also really small. But anyway, I think that this whole thing with this anti-Nina Turner campaign, I think that this is indicative that the right has learned a lot of lessons from the 2020 Bernie Sanders run, and the left has learned a lot of lessons in the wrong direction. Now, when I say the left, I mean there's a big chunk of people that don't vote that consider themselves leftists. They learned the wrong lesson, right? There's a big chunk of leftists, right, who, put a lot of time and money into getting a lot of these Progressive Caucus candidates elected in 2020, right? And now the Progressive Caucus is going against them, and they're learning the wrong lessons of, we should just stop supporting progressives, And it's just like, we have to get rid of them. In my opinion, the litmus test is, do you support basic human rights, part 1, and part 2 is, will you do anything to advance basic human rights? The Progressive Caucus, Pramila Jayapal, Ro Khanna, right? They have proven, yes. Do they support human rights? Sure, broadly, but they will do nothing at all to advance human rights in any way possible. They will do the exact opposite of that. So in my opinion, primary them. Get rid of them. Get fucking rid of them. The anti-Nina Turner campaign, in my opinion, is the largest kind of like AOC is not going to lose a primary, right? She's got her seat for the rest of however long she wants it, right? So, putting money into that race, kind of a failure. Rashida Tlaib, probably, in my opinion, is one of the most vulnerable Justice Democrats. It's already an incumbent, right? But we see with this Nina Turner election in Ohio 11, This is like the real kind of like, these are the machinations that are going on behind the scenes, manifesting in the real world between right-wing corporations, right? You know, the pro-corporate Democrats, right? The people that say, oh yeah, we love trans people. By the way, he, him, he. Oh, by the way, I love my trans friend. He, him, he, haha, man, male, right? So these are the kinds of people, they don't actually give a shit. They don't care, right? And these are where the battle lines are drawn, and no one pays attention. No one cares. No, everyone who's going to pay attention at all is going to learn the wrong lesson. They're going to do even dumber things next time. The only solution is to do more organizing, to do more unionizing, to get more outside electoral power, and then leverage that power for electoral politics. And that is the exact opposite of what the Progressive Caucus is doing. They're garbage. They're trash. I don't know what to say. That's a failed experiment. Let's start over. Let's try a new team. Good thing the U.S. House has 2-year terms, right? We can vote out every member of these Progressive Caucus and primary them from the left. In my opinion, now again, we can primary corporate Democrats, right, and get them to be leftist. That's a good strategy. But in my opinion, right, we should be primarying some of these so-called liberal Democrats that are taking this, like, spearheading the mantle of liberalism and left-wing progressivism and doing a horrible job at it. In my opinion, I wouldn't mind if Pramila Jayapal was primaried and a leftist beat her, right? Because she has proven to be a net deficit. She has controlled opposition. 100%. Anyway, got a lot to say, and I'm going to cut it there. Nina went right and lost. I don't know where you're coming from with that one. I have seen no evidence that that's the case. All right, we got some news here. We got some goddamn news. Some goddamn news. Here. Can you believe it? Just looking at the news. So here's some more bullshit that you're going to need to navigate through in your interactions with other humans in this bizarre experiment and simulation that we call planet Earth. There's some more bullshit coming down the pipe, and so I'm going to vaccinate you against this bullshit. Check it out. This is from Fox Business, of course. Biden's pause on student loan repayments, quote, adds fuel to the inflation fire, expert says. Expert singular. What the fuck? President Biden's decision to extend a pause once again. Now, my opinion, Joe Biden should just cancel this fucking shit. If he is capable of pausing it, kicking the can down the road for multiple years, why not just cancel it? Doing this centrist bullshit doesn't work. It just doesn't fucking work, okay? Right, if you canceled it, your approval rating would go up because leftists or people who have to deal with student loans, right, they would see that and they go like, oh, based Biden. Oh, let's vote for this guy's party, right? The right sees you not do that and they go like, oh, well, you're just kicking the can down the road. Why not just make them pay? They're forced to pay. They took out a loan. They should pay it off. Like, what the fuck is this garbage? Anyway, let's read. President Biden's decision to extend a pause once again on federal student loan payments is only worsening the current inflation crisis. And his consideration of canceling the debt altogether could have a disastrous impact on the economy, one expert warns. This is like the one experts that like, the climate's not burning up. The climate's not burning up, I'm an expert. I'm a goddamn expert. Earlier this month, the U.S. Department of Education announced an extension of the pause in the student loan repayment program repayment, interest, and collections through August 31. Biden said in a statement the U.S. is still recovering from the years-long coronavirus pandemic, necessitating further leniency on loan payments. Reminder, Joe Biden is one of the chief architects of the bankruptcy laws in this country that make it so you can't declare bankruptcy on student loan debt. For whatever reason, student loan debt is in its own category. You can declare bankruptcy on anything except for student loan debt. It's literally indentured servitude. That's what it is. The move comes as progressive Democrats call for permanent cancellation of all student loan repayments. Rep. Pramila Jayapal, D-Wash, wrote over the weekend that student debt cancellation is racial justice, gender justice, and economic justice. Well, I'm glad that she agrees, but is she going to do anything to further this cause? I don't know. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said in a press briefing earlier this month that the Biden administration has not ruled out canceling debt on a wide scale via executive action. Biden has previously said he supports canceling up to $10,000, but argued it should be done through congressional action. So this is like the confusion. You can do it through executive action, but you know that Joe Manchin isn't going to do something. So you say, oh, well, we should make it done right. We should make it go through Congress. We should do this the right way. Fully knowing that Joe Manchin would never sign on to that. Right, but then you got Jen Psaki saying that, we might do it, executive action. But then they're like, oh, no, we're only going to do it. It's kicking the can back and forth. It's like fucking ping pong. You're playing tennis with these bitches. E.J. Antoni, a research fellow in regional economics at the Heritage Foundation. The motherfucking Heritage Foundation! Yes, people still take this guy seriously. Or these people, I should say, at the Heritage Foundation. They are still taken seriously. They still get articles in Fox Business. This is the world we live in. Told Fox News Digital that the pause on repayments is contributing to the current inflation crisis, which rose a crippling 8.5% last month. Yes. Perfect logic. Making people spend more money in debt traps is better for inflation because, making people not be able to afford rent or food is better for inflation, what? The latest blunder by the Biden administration and further stated the monetary president is that price increases in at least 3 ways. First, on the repayment of debt has fueled the inflation fire by putting upward pressure on the money supply and therefore inflation. Like what? Upward pressure on the money supply? What? I don't understand. What? Anyway, I don't even need to read this. What I need to tell you is inflation is caused by price gouging. These corporations are basically, they see that people are saying, inflation! Whoa, inflation! Right? So what they're doing is they're fucking raising the shit out of their prices. We see in a lot of instances, right? A lot of these, the raw value for a lot of materials is going down, right? Like certain foods are getting cheaper to import and to produce. Oil is getting cheaper, right? But they're just going to spend, because there's some instances, right? We're now starting, right, just beginning, this is only going to get worse, to see the effects of a wheat shortage caused by the war in Ukraine. But because wheat is being, is more rare, right, companies that have nothing to do with wheat are saying, oh, food insecurity, let's raise our prices. Go food insecurity, go raise our prices, go food, and then goddamn wheat, but we don't even sell wheat products, we just gonna make it. Right, that's what they're doing, right? Inflation there's no such thing as overall inflation. Inflation really, if we're talking about actual supply and demand and how actual economics works, the way that these people pretend that they work, but can't free market, the goddamn supply and demand, the invisible hand is gonna come out and go, my money, invisible hand is gonna, only inflation with the invisible hand. Like the way that they describe the markets and how they want it, right? The logic doesn't add up. Right? Because if wheat has a supply problem, the demand for wheat is going to increase, right? But then also, yes, there's going to be demand for other supplementary food products, but that demand is not wheat is one food product, right? The demand for every other food product is not going to skyrocket in the same way that the demand for wheat will, right? Again, it's just what? What? Everyone just says, oh, inflation, let's raise our prices. That's it. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with what Biden is doing. Other than the fact that Biden could be giving us more stimulus packages. That wouldn't go against inflation. What they're doing with this inflation bullshit is they're trying to teach Americans the wrong lesson. Oh, you got a lot of money during the stimulus packages. Well, here's why that's a bad thing. You should never ask your government for help. because when they help you, it will only hurt you later. What they're trying to do is kill the idea in people's heads that the government can do anything good for them. And that if the government ever does anything good for them, that it has to have like bad associated consequences with them. So they would never want that again. What? It's dumb. It's goddamn dumb. Anyway, there's Joe Biden. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the goddamn. I did not see this, Anastasia. This was great. And of course on 420, no less. Hold up. This is great. All right, so let me just start this segment off by saying I've been saying this for a while now. Now, I've been saying this since April of 2020, is that if Joe Biden decides to run for president in 2024, I believe Bernie Sanders should as well. That's my opinion. I do not support a closed primary for the Democratic line in 2024. I don't support it. I think we need an open primary. We don't need any of that bullshit. We need Bernie to run for president. He is the only one that is capable of constructing a coalition at this moment in human history. Maybe if AOC gets another 5 to 10 years, but she does not have that coalition right now, right? In my opinion, Bernie has the most crossover appeal. He's got all the appeals in every category. It makes obvious sense. Now, again, he's going to be old as fuck. But guess what? So is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is old as fuck. So is Donald Trump. We know for a fact that Donald Trump is running for president in 2024 again. We know that. It's the case. It's going to happen, right? So if Donald Trump can run for president, why can't Bernie Sanders? I've been saying this since Bernie dropped out of the primary in 2020. We need him to run again. He's the only chance that we have for any sort of presidential success at all. 100%, full stop. I've been saying this consistently since April of 2020. A lot of people, even on the left, who just disagree for whatever reason, like, they need to get with the program. We need to support this now. We need to push him now, in my opinion. So anyway, now again, or we just give up on the presidency altogether. That's the other option, right? If you think that Bernie has no chance to win the presidency, then in my opinion, no one has a chance. Who has, as far as left-wing politics, who has any higher of a chance than Bernie Sanders? Let's be honest. Let's be real. Right? You can't think of anyone because they don't exist. So if we're going to run anyone as a leftist in the Bernie or in the presidential campaigns, it's going to be Bernie Sanders. That's my opinion. I think AOC has good potential. I would obviously support her no matter when she ran, but I do think if you give her another 5 to 10 years to create more power, especially dual power, have more organizational and structural, support, I think that she could be a good contender. I don't think 2024, I don't think her running against Biden is a good idea, to be honest with you. Like, if that's the case, I would support it, right? But as of this moment, I would rather have Bernie Sanders and have AOC continue to build power in the House. Now, again, one of the things is even if Bernie doesn't win, even if Bernie Sanders doesn't win, right? The idea of Bernie running for president builds an apparatus. Think about the amount of people that you had no idea existed in 2014 or in 2018, right? That you met via the Bernie campaigns, right? For me, the Bernie 2016 campaign was how I got into politics. That was my doorway into the political sphere. And the 2020 campaign, I worked on the campaign. I did canvassing in multiple cities and multiple states. I, met a lot of people via social media, via the campaign. I made a lot of friends, right? It helped, crystallize a lot of, getting into politics. It's a good gateway. And so even if Bernie Sanders has no possibility of winning, I also still think he is the best candidate to put forward that message on a national scale to get people involved in the process, in my opinion. right? So even if you think he can't win, even if you think there's no chance of him winning, I would say you should still support him for one. So I haven't read this article yet, but I just wanted to give my opinion up until reading this. Thank you, Anastasia, for sending me this. This is great news. Okay? Senator Bernie Sanders, top political advisor, said in a recent memo that he is open to running in the 2024 election if President Biden declines to seek re-election. Now, in my opinion, Bernie should run regardless. That's my opinion. Now, I know why. I get optics-wise, right? If you're going to introduce this idea into the public sphere, I get why you'd want to say, yeah, only if Biden declines to run again. I get why you'd want to say that, right? Because you want to, it's a throwing a compromise in there. It's not like he's announcing his run for presidency yet, right? So I get it. The Washington Post first reported the news of this memo, adding it was shared with his allies on Wednesday. A source directly familiar with the memo confirmed to The Hill on Wednesday that the document exists. It's real. The document exists. In the event of an open 2024 Democratic presidential primary, Senator Sanders has not ruled out another run for president, so we advise that you answer any questions about 2024 with that in mind. The outlet said, quoting the memo from Sanders' former campaign manager, Fayez Shakir. So again, we see a lot of these cases where we see polling in hypothetical 2024 matches, right? And they'll throw AOC in there, right? They'll throw like random nobodies in there, Democratic 2024 presidential polling, right? And none of them, like I don't think any, like maybe 2 or 3 polls have ever bothered to include Sanders. If Biden runs, if Kamala runs, Sanders should run. There's no reason not to support that. If he were to run, Sanders, who turned 80 last year and is a year older than Biden, would be among the oldest candidates in the running for U.S. presidency in 2024. CNN reporter Ryan Noble shared screenshots of the memo on Twitter. Can I click this? Is this clickable? Oh, on 420. Can we talk about this? 420. This guy's announcing this on 420. I mean, Bernie knows what's up. Like, let's just say that. Like, do you remember? Hold up. Was it? I think it was 420 2019. Right? 420 2019. I think it was. It might have been because 420 2020. It was already the campaign was already over. But I think it was 420 2019 where Bernie Sanders unveiled his big like marijuana legalization plan. If he ran, if he wins, this is right. And he did this big marketing campaign. And I think that the memo, or whatever the announcement was released on 420 at 420, PM. So I just want to say whoever was working on that staff or there, Bernie himself, whatever, they know what's up. So anyway, the memo says, as campaigning heats up in states across the country, your political opponents and their corporate-aligned allies will try to make you feel defensive about Senator Bernie Sanders' support for your candidate. Our advice is to embrace the attacks. Here's why. According to YouGov, Bernie is the most popular office holder in the country. Now, again, we all know the talking points. If you've been involved in any Bernie campaign, you know the talking points. According to a March Harvard-Harris poll conducted by Mark Penn, Sanders is the highest-rated office holder. The bottom part that's cut off from the screen. Let me try to fix that. According to a recent NBC News poll, Sanders is the most valuable individual endorsement for Democratic candidates, making 71% of Democratic Party primary voters more likely to support that candidate. So again, Bernie Sanders has power. Him running for president, even if you think he has 0% chance of winning, you should still support it. Why? Because it's about building dual power. Bernie Sanders is one of, if not the only member of Congress, besides a couple members of the squad, like Cori Bush, for example, that even cares about, dual power. There's only 6 members of Congress that actually give a shit. And, a lot of them are not super big on dual power. Cori Bush is big on it. Outside organization will always yield electoral, leverage. You will always be able to leverage your support for electoralism. And it's, so Bernie Sanders is one of the only people that he goes to strikes. Again, Bernie's our guy. I don't know. Anyone who's trying to convince you that Bernie's not the guy, you're getting sold snake oil. I don't know what to tell you. Anyone who's going to go out there and say, I'm never going to vote for Bernie again. Anyone who's doing that is lying to you. They have been bought and paid for to lie to you. That is their goal in life, is to lie to you. And they are garbage and should not be listened to. That's my opinion. In a recent YouGov poll, Sanders was the second-ranked candidate, tied with Vice President Kamala Harris among Democratic voters and Democratic-leaning independents to be the party's nominee for president in 2024. Senator Sanders is a strong ally of workers across the country who are driving up a grassroots labor uprising. Over the last year, blah, 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 he backed a bunch of strikes. Yes, we already know that. That's good. Fact. We do understand that corporate-backed campaigns will try to make Senator Sanders' endorsement controversial, especially in Democratic primaries. So here are some answers to frequently asked questions. Senator Sanders is an independent and an avowed Democratic socialist. Why are you accepting his endorsement? Senator Sanders is putting forward an extremely popular vision, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, this is the memo. It implies that he's going to run, and there's more. In 2020, Sanders was asked at the Washington Post live event whether he'd consider running for a third consecutive presidential run in 2024. I think the likelihood is very, very slim. At that, he said, at the time? At the time? I mean, people change their fucking mind, right? Like, just saying. The Vermont senator built a progressive movement that rose to prominence in 2016 when he lost the Democratic nomination of Clinton. He once again ran in a crowded field of contenders in 2020 where he briefly emerged as the frontrunner. Now, again, the entire 2020 primary, the whole reason why they had 50, 60,000 people running for president was because every new guy that would hop in the race would be, you know, because we got to be fair, because the news networks that cover the... Yes, that's right. In the primaries, we don't have a presidential debate commission, and it's just streamed on C-SPAN, right? The news networks control the debates in primaries. Corporate-owned news networks. So they do this whole, we got to be fair, bruh. We got to be fair, man. We got to be fair. So the more people running... Right, remember when they split the debates into 2 nights? My God. Right? The whole point of having 30 trillion people run for president was to reduce the amount of airtime Bernie Sanders would get. That's it. That's it. That's the whole point. Right? Because in order to be fair, we want to give everyone an equal chance. The whole race was Bernie or Biden. That was it. No one else had any shot. Not your stupid Pete Buttigieg dumbass. Not your Kamala Harris fucking moron. Not your Elizabeth Warren wannabe dream fucking garbage candidates. It was Bernie and Joe. That was it. And the only reason anyone else gave a shit about running was 1, to boost their profile, and 2, to cut away from the amount of airtime that Bernie Sanders would receive. They learned the lesson. When 2016 was Bernie versus Clinton, right? When that happened, they learned that lesson, and that's why they ran a bunch of motherfuckers in 2024. That's it. That's that. They learned a lesson. The corporatists are learning lessons. Are you learning lessons? Probably not, because you're a fucking dumbass, unless you're listening to my show, and then you're really smart. Highest IQ members of society, the intelligentsia of the modern world, are watching my show. But again, Bernie went into the 2016 campaign. This is documented. He went into the 2016 campaign. First of all, he wanted Elizabeth Warren to run. She chose not to because she's a fucking sellout fucking snake, okay? So he ran a messaging campaign. He did not think he would have any chance at winning, but he wanted to go up on the debate stage, right? Because it would literally have just been Clinton running against thin air, right? And Bernie was like, what? That's not going to happen. So he went up there to talk about things like climate change, to talk about things like healthcare problems, right? And that's what got me into politics. That's what got millions of other people into politics, right? So, but he went into that not thinking at all. He had no campaign apparatus built in any way, right? He didn't start laying groundwork like years before. He went in just to do a messaging campaign, and he almost won, right? And so then he spent, and the team spent, you know, more time from 2016 to 2020 laying that groundwork. But guess what? So did the corporatists. And it turns out the corporatists had a lot more money and a lot better strategy, and they ended up beating Bernie Sanders in 2020. But we need to understand, like, these are the lessons that the corporatists are learning. And, like, when you look on the left, are left-wingers en masse learning any lessons? Not really. Are left-wing commentators online learning any lessons? Barely. Barely any of them learned any lessons from 2020. Like, I'm just be honest. Are any politicians going out there and talking about this stuff? Probably not. To me, it seems like the left's biggest flaw is that they don't fucking learn anything. The left is always, let's start from scratch every single time. That's always the mentality with these third-party goofballs. All right, let's start from scratch. And then every couple years, there's a new party that they want to, you know, it's the Greens, and now the Greens are lame. So now they're doing the People's Party, and then you've got the PSL, right? They all want to start their own party. Everyone wants to start from scratch every single time. I don't fucking know what the fuck that whole thing is. I don't know why you would. Bernie 2024, it's that or hell on earth. It's the same shit we've been saying since 2016. Bernie or hell on earth. You choose. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. Bernie or Trump. That's it. Those are the options. You have nothing else. I'm sorry. And feel free to clip me out of context if Kamala Harris manages to squeak by in 2024, because it's possible, maybe. But in my opinion, as of this moment, and again, this was my opinion during the 2020 primary, so, you know, Biden still won in 2020, so, but, you know, I think COVID had a big factor on that. If there was no COVID and Biden had to go out and campaign outside all the time, I personally think he would have lost. But either way, my opinion is still the same. It's Bernie or hell on earth. We have no other choice. And again, even if you think Bernie Sanders has no chance of winning, personally, I don't know. I'm not that pessimistic. But I would say it's still worth supporting the campaign just because, again, the gateway, bringing people into politics. Bernie Sanders is really good at that, right? The unionization, organizational apparatuses being built by the Bernie campaign from 2020 and onward, right? Bernie's going out supporting all these strikers, right? A lot of people met during these Bernie campaigns, right? So it's building solidarity among left-wing people. We need that shit. We need that shit. As much as I hate the idea of centralization and we need to like all follow the leader, right? In this specific instance, when it comes to a presidential campaign, Bernie Sanders needs to run, even if it's just the messaging campaign like he ran in 2016, even if he has no chance of winning. But he should run as if he wants to win, obviously. But again, people pay attention to, like I described earlier in the show, for whatever reason, we've constructed a society where Americans are fucking stupid and they don't vote in midterm elections and they don't vote in primaries. And one of the best ways to get people involved in politics was the Bernie campaign. It got a lot of people that would normally not be involved in politics. Again, I mean, you look at the fact that Bernie was doing rallies with these big fucking celebrities and these fucking musicians and all these people. A lot of people got involved because of that, right? You don't see that shit on the fucking corporatist side. You see this fucking garbage. Like the Hillary Clinton doesn't get like that many fucking people that people care about. You see the Hamilton.
Watch Hillary
right?
examine
like,
the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim
this
Kaine,
is what you get. This is not what wins. This is not a winning strategy or formula. That's the kind of corporate coalition that they're trying to build, right? The Hamilton freaks, the fucking like the big rich people, like Bono endorsing you is not that cool, right? I'm just letting you know, Bernie Sanders has that crossover appeal. He's got that potential. So if he runs, no matter what, I think everyone on the left should support him, full stop. One of the biggest problems with 2020 was that leftists were flirting. Oh, maybe Tulsi Gabbard. How did that turn out, you stupid motherfucker? Oh, maybe Andrew Yang. How did that turn out, you dumb bitch motherfucker? Maybe I'll support Elizabeth Warren. Huh? How did that turn out, you stupid fucking prick? Maybe I'll support, Pete Buttigieg seems like he's young and he said Medicare for all who want it and I want it. So how did that turn out, you stupid ass prick? Again, I don't know what to fucking tell you, but Bernie Sanders is the only, like, I don't know. It's the only strategy. It's the only strategy. That's just that. Out of what we have right now, unless people want to build a new coalition again, I say let's use existing infrastructure. That's why I support primarying people within the Democratic Party. It's easier to do less work. Why do the same work people have already done? Why start from scratch every single time you're going to run for a campaign? Plug yourself into existing infrastructure, work with what we got. Improve it as you go, work with what we got. This is the scientific method being applied to politics. Like when scientists are learning about something, like no scientist is going to rediscover space all again no scientist is going to invent their own telescope from scratch, right? And then try to invent all their own machinery without plugging into the already existing network. No, why? Because it's a waste of fucking time. So why do people do that with politics? Why do they waste their fucking time doing the same shit everyone else has already done 15 fucking times and they failed? What the fuck? So I'm just asking that question. We need to approach politics with the scientific method. That's it. It's the only answer. I haven't heard the Matt Gaetz song. Anyway, left-wingers are dumb as hell. Part 7. All right, I got one more thing I want to play because this is great. This is great. I'm sure everyone has saw this yesterday. I didn't because I was... Yo, yesterday, Okay, so let me tell a story. God, Tulsi... Anyone that supported Tulsi Gabbard in 2020, wow. That is some dumb, like premium grade stupidity. Like, you know, it's one thing if people say, yeah, I supported Tulsi and I got duped and I feel like a stupid ass bitch and I'm learning my lesson. That's one thing. But like the people that like are like, oh, well, the people that cope and go like, oh, well, we didn't know at the time. I supported Tulsi before she turned into a... All those people, my God, learn a goddamn lesson. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I just didn't know. How could you have known? Blah, 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 blah. The cope. The goddamn cope from the Tulsi supporters. My God. Now, a lot of them have just come out and said, yep, we fucked up. We were stupid. We didn't know what we were talking about. But the ones that are still coping, my God. I just want to remind everyone that my chat room is not the location to yell at each other. If you want to yell at each other, please do so on another platform or on the show. Like in the chat, you know, it's kind of boring. If you know, if you want to yell at each other on the show, like come on and we'll do some like live blood sports. I'm down with that. But I don't like arguing in the chat. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, Orange Man. I'll get into my 420 story after that, after this. So Piers Morgan, whom also a reprehensible piece of human garbage, uploaded this teaser trailer, and I gotta watch. We're just gonna go in. All right, 30 seconds, and then we'll talk about this.
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
Oh my God, this is such low volume.
A former president in
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
a former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man.
Now I gotta turn this up. This is like the trailer volume. Like the noise that they added is so different from the audio like of the microphones. All right.
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
A former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a free and fair election. You lost.
Only a fool would think
You
that.
think I'm a fool?
I do now, yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay, but with
The
respect, you haven't
legislature...
produced the hard evidence.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the year.
I don't think you're real.
I realise I'm not like...
Very
I
dishonest.
just-
Let's finish up the interview.
Morgan versus
Turn the
Trump.
camera up. Very dishonest.
Only on Talk TV.
Yo,
Okay, Piers.
I gotta watch this. I don't know what to tell you. This is gonna be a banger. Now again, Piers Morgan, he knows what he's doing. He's a conservative, like, he's garbage. He's garbage, all right? He's fucking garbage, right? We know that. But you know what? Again, I always will say, now again, at the end of the day, conservatives will buckle for power whenever, right? Right? They will always, like, follow the leader no matter what, okay? But whenever there's these rare moments, right, when they're yelling at each other, fuck it, let's enjoy it. Let's eat the goddamn popcorn. Let's eat the fucking popcorn. Like, you know that meme image of, like, the fucking people, like, fighting, and then there's that dude in the background with the bong, like, just chilling and watching the people fighting? That's us when these motherfuckers are fighting. We just gotta chill, and we gotta watch it, okay? But again, both of these people are garbage. And that's what makes this fun, is because it's like, it's just garbage can man flinging garbage at another garbage can man. It's great. I want to watch this again.
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
A former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a free and fair election. You lost.
Only a fool would think
You
that.
think I'm a fool?
I do now, yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay, but with
The
respect, you haven't
legislature...
produced the hard evidence.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the year.
I don't think you're real.
I realise I'm not...
I don't
very-
think you're real. What does that?
Let's finish up the interview.
Goddamn D. Trump, Orange Man, is having a goddamn, like, fucking, like, I don't know, like an acid flashback. Like, he's hallucinating. Oh, these people are not real. I don't think you're real. What the hell? What the hell? Anyway, this is going to be great. I'm excited for that. So I don't know. It's again garbage can man versus garbage can man. You can't help but love it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They will always follow the leader. Just understand that. So yesterday I got really high. This is like becoming like a theme of the show is that getting high stories. Well, I get high every day because I'm a weed user. I'm a stoner. Some people call us stoners in the community. I get high every day. You know, it's just, you know, why not? Right? Like, you know, I could live my life not high versus living my life high. You know, why not? So yesterday was April 20th of the year 2021. 22, actually. Whoa. And so I went to the weed store. And I got some very concentrated materials. Some high concentration materials at the marijuana store. And last night I decided to dabble, shall we say. Maybe we'll short that. I decided to dab in the very highly concentrated marijuana materials. And needless to say, I got very high yesterday. I was fucked up. I haven't gotten that high in a long time. And by a long time, I mean like a week. You know, because I got really high last week too, during some episode. But anyway, it was great. I got really high, and I don't know. I like weed. I don't know. There's no point in this story, but like I'm still like kind of high right now. And so as soon as this stream is over, I'm going to go dab once again. I guess that's the point of the story. Is as soon as this stream is over, I'm going to hit that back up. I'm going to go to town. I'm going to go to the market. And I'm going to get fucked up. So that's the story. You know, I'm very, very much so involved in the marijuana community. I think it's safe to say you're an excessive person. I love to live in excess. That's true. It's true. I doubt that interview is real. I mean, the whole thing's not real. It's fake. God damn. But, yeah, everyone, thank you all for watching the show. I do approve of people approving of the show. I enjoyed doing the cooking stuff. You know, a lot of people are giving me positive reviews. Once again, Cooking with the Bitch, episode 11 is live. Check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know why, you know, I don't know why. You should have, if you're here right now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you should already have seen this. But there's Max the dog. Anyway, so I definitely recommend checking that out. And once again, I you know, I'm trying to do a lot more than just this show. I'm trying to expand my artistic portfolio. So, once again, on the Lucid Dream show, I'm going to be honest. So I've started oh my god, the seltzer. I've started pre-production on my Lucid Dream course and or class and or free. I'm going to teach you how to become a goddamn psychonaut without any drugs. But also, if you do want drugs, there's going to be drugs involved. Legal drugs, even. But anyway, I know I initially, at the beginning of this month, said that this would start by the end of the month, or I'd have some rough draft. And I do have a rough draft. But the rough draft is going to involve quite a bit of effort to produce. So I'm just letting everyone know it's not going to happen probably for another month or two. It's going to require a lot of effort to produce. I have started my own self-experimentation. As well, part of this whole process is I want to put myself through every single test that I can come up with, and then make the show on the best results. So I'm starting scientific studies on my own brain. They will be happening as of now, they are happening. And so, again, once I finish my own scientific study on myself and my own body, I will then start producing the show proper. And the way I'm going to go about it, I want to go about it right. So, yeah, so it's not going to happen. Probably, I would say, maybe June or July, maybe. That's my, if it's going to happen, in my opinion, I think June is going to be the soonest that it could happen. Because I want to do, still another month's worth of scientific study on my body, on myself, on me as a person, before I actually begin filming or producing any sort of episodic format. And then also I want to do, the format I want to be daily for 2 weeks. And so what that means is I want people to make a habit out of it. I want the idea to be, I want you to watch one of these episodes every night before you go to sleep. That's going to have the maximum impact. And if it's daily, it builds the habits in a way, so that's the goal. But again, it's going to take a little bit to produce such a product. So definitely going to delay that. But anyway, the cooking show is definitely full speed ahead. The Doom streams have been very fun. In May, you will be a guest on my show and we'll talk nutrition. I'm in. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope I can catch the complete show another time. I do enjoy listening to you. Have a good day. All right, you have a good day too. Yep, that's right. One thing that y'all are starting to realize about me is that I'm always right. I'm basically the smartest person in the world. There might be a couple people that are smarter than me, but let's be real. There's a ratio of being smart and then charismatic. A lot of smart people, they're not charismatic. No one wants to be around them. They're losers. They're freaks, right? Me, extremely high charisma and extremely high intelligence. I'm a genius. I'm very smart. And so, just throwing that out there. It was in, and now it's out. And that's the world that we're dealing with. Go watch my cooking show. Cooking with the Bitch is a show that you can watch, and it's right here. You can watch the show. Look, there's some editing tricks. So go watch that. So there you go. Also, if you want to give me money, giving me money is an option. I don't look comfortable in this chair. I'm making the best out of a bad situation. I don't mind. I don't mind being super high up. I've gotten used to it. If you want to give me money, that's an option. If you want to support my various drug addictions as well as Max the Dog's food supply, you can do so by giving me money. I would appreciate that. That's it. That's pretty much the show. I mean, that's what we got. Hopefully y'all have been appreciating the Dungeon Dice Monsters speedruns. So, I'm going to probably attempt another one today. So, we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, I'm considering playing another Doom stream. We'll see how it goes, though. I'm just watching my own cooking video. This is still open on my screen. I'm just watching this. And, I'm about to go eat like this right now. I'm about to go make some more of this. Look at that shit. Oh. My God.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
Do not come. Do not come.
They're coming all over the place. Everybody comes in your grandmother. 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 Everybody comes in your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother. Everybody comes in your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody so easily so grandmother. Everybody comes father, in your mother, your brother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Father, your mother, your brother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your so easily so crazy. Everybody comes in your grandmother. They're coming all over the place.